right. Sounds good. So, what is our topic of discussion today?
Well, I think one of the things that has been pretty in our faces, especially here in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
is the floods and
Yes.
the disaster and
Wow.
trauma and
Absolutely.
heartbreak that has happened in Kerrville.
Kerrville. Yes. I mean, really, I think everyone who heard about it was greatly affected by what happened.
It was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And so let's talk about it from different perspectives. Maybe one perspective we can talk about it in is being a parent
Mm,
and what goes through your brain is that as a
yeah.
community, you
Hmm.
know, as a state, as a nation. I mean, I think it affected everyone from every walk of life in every realm.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we see happen pretty rapidly is people try to make sense of it and try
Mhm.
to find a
Mhm.
scapegoat or somebody to blame for it when
Absolutely.
it becomes just when it is just a natural disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I noticed that too, and I think that is our attempt to try to control it and
Yeah.
to try to control the narrative that we can prevent it in
Hmm.
some way. And so I think our attempts to do that sometimes I wanna say maybe diminish
Hmm.
or what's another even better word? Dismiss
Hmm.
those who are going through it
Yeah.
instead of saying, "This is a terrible thing, and how do we get through this, and how do we help people?" We're looking for someone to lay it on so that we can prevent it the next time, and some things are not preventable.
Right.
That's not something people wanna hear.
No.
They don't wanna hear that it's not preventable. I mean, this is a terrible example, but it's true. I used to laugh because my mom one time called me when I was a toddler. I mean, when I had a toddler, and we were at the park, and she calls me in this frantic state, and she says, "Oh my goodness, take all his hoodies away and rip all of the strings out of them." Because on the news, there was a child who actually went off a slide and,
Mm.
for lack of a better way to put it, hung himself
Oh my gosh.
somewhat. Sorry for that's a trigger warning there, but that's what happened.
Right.
And so in her mind, it was that all of those must be extinguished, you
Yeah.
know? And she's not wrong. She was a grandmother,
Right.
obviously. But I didn't immediately do that. I did pay more attention to it,
Right.
and I did take those out for ourselves, but it's in the news for a reason
Right.
because it's usually rare,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
We don't think of it that way because everything is so readily available in our world now.
Hmm.
Our nervous systems are not used to that.
No. And I think one of the things that I heard, I believe it was from Dr. Carolyn Leaf, when she was talking, she's a trauma therapist as well. And she's phenomenal. Check her out. But she was talking about the overload to our
Mhm.
systems of disasters and when tragedy strikes and when things like that. And it's so readily available to us now. It's coming in
Mhm.
at a rapid rate via internet, social media. I mean, everywhere you look, you're inundated with information.
It never stops.
And so the important thing I think is to pause and let your body and mind process what you're reading because you're just constantly inundated. And while it may not feel like a shock to your where your information is going to the part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, but it's shocking your nervous system. Your nervous system
Absolutely
is
it is.
having a response to what you just read or what you just saw.
And some of us who have CPTSD, complex PTSD, are very acclimated to chaos. And so sometimes I think our systems are just not are somewhat used to that state. So we don't pay attention to it until
Hmm.
we are overloaded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe very strongly, even with news going on, that we have to take breaks from it.
Yeah.
I don't think that anyone is capable of holding all that information.
It's overwhelming. And
Yeah.
for someone that myself struggles with anxiety, and I constantly have to fight that fear of my kids, diving into a swimming pool and breaking their neck. Like
Right.
that is something that I fight every summer.
Yes.
And it's because I've heard stories in the past of where this has happened.
Yeah.
I've never experienced it. I've never experienced it in my family or friends or anyone that I even know that this
Mhm.
has happened to.
Yeah.
But it came in through the news or through a story from a friend, and I didn't take time to sit in it when I heard it, process it, and work through it, and it got stuck.
Yeah, it's just like that thing I talk to my clients about. I always say our brains want to stop at the fear.
Yeah.
They don't go further than that. So I always tell them, now, don't get me wrong, when we have anxiety or ADHD or any of those things, a lot of times our brain will just start spinning all these scenarios, but that's not the same as sitting in it and
Mhm.
feeling the feeling of this feels terrible.
Mhm.
This feels hopeless. This feels sad. This
Mhm.
makes me have empathy for people. I can't imagine what they're going through. We don't sit in that. We go straight to the fear. So then we
Mhm.
get in a very preventative mode, and some of those things can't be prevented.
Mhm.
I'm not saying, and in this case, let me put that out there too. We are definitely not saying that everything was done correctly. I don't know. I
Right.
don't have enough of the information to know what was done correctly, what wasn't. But I can tell you, it affected us all in such a deep way that I think the first instinct of people should be to err on the side of humanity
Yeah.
and our own fear. And saying, if I can think this through enough, I can avoid the bad feelings about it. I always say, you're not feeling, you're thinking.
Mhm.
You're thinking about feeling,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And when we do that, it's a really a form of avoidance,
Mhm.
which is fine. Sometimes we need to just avoid. I don't judge that either. But I know that's what it is. It's helping me to avoid these scary feelings that I am not in control of.
Yeah. And we were constantly, I know here in Texas, we
Mhm.
were constantly hit with story after story after story of these heroic stories.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing stories that these parents and these people that jumped in to help and these it's still traumatizing to hear
Even the good
the
ones.
good ones.
Yeah.
And I found myself going, "Oh my gosh," clinging to my chair of hearing these things and trying to put myself in their place and immediately then dismissing it. Nope, nope, it's too much overload. And I
Right.
didn't sit in it for a second and be like,
Pet the dog.
oh
You didn't
my
pet the
gosh,
dog.
I didn't pet the feelings dog. I literally just dismissed it and stayed in my anxiety of, I'm just
Mhm.
not sending my kids to camp.
I'm just It's the knee-jerk reaction, and it's
Yeah,
not unreasonable. Like,
right.
I don't want people to think their feelings about that are unreasonable. It is not unreasonable to feel those feelings when something like that happens.
Mm,
I think we think, especially if you're in trauma therapy, you're gonna think that everything has to be some bad reaction. I don't look at those things as I look at them as natural reactions to unnatural things.
yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't happen all the time. So of course our system is going to be completely shocked by that. It's
Mm,
going to have a reaction. Your body is going to react. It is normal to react. I don't want us thinking we have to regulate our way out of that.
right. You also have to not let it stay stuck.
Slow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And okay, this was a natural reaction
Mhm.
to an unnatural thing. And instead of petting the dog and feeling it, I stayed stuck in it. I let it
Yeah.
stay stuck. And
You
now
stayed stuck right there in the
yep,
amygdala.
I've
You stayed
let
in the
it,
fear center.
I've let it take control of future decisions that are going to affect my kids.
And
Right.
they're like, "We'll never have friends again. We will never be allowed to have friendships again." No, I mean, I get it. And I get why people do it. It stops right there at the back of the brain, and it's
Hmm.
that amygdala, the fear center. It starts to dictate our actions because we haven't gone into the higher level thinking. So
Hmm.
when we can't higher level think, we are stuck in fear. Now,
Hmm.
there's also something that happens with people that I notice this a lot. They get stuck in painting a rainbow over it. Like
Mm.
it's going to be fine. Look for these things are fine now and we're okay and just give it to God and all these things. Beautiful things that we should do, by the way, if we're a people of faith. If we're a people of faith, that I get that. That's where you go with that. But even if you're not, even if you're not a person of faith,
Mhm.
there has to be somewhere to put it. I get that.
Mhm.
But I think there's something deeper in that we are still avoiding.
Yeah, you're not dealing with it. It's like, okay, I'm just going to hand this off until when?
Mhm.
Until it comes back again.
Yeah, it's that word we call spiritual bypassing, or those
Mhm.
2 words.
Mhm.
It is spiritual bypassing, saying, I'm going to slap a Band-Aid on an ugly wound.
Mhm. And just say it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's not how our bodies, minds, or even spirits work.
We have to acknowledge it.
Mhm.
You can't change what you don't acknowledge. You used to hear that a lot. It's true.
And if you don't want things to get stuck, you have to acknowledge it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's how resilience is actually built.
Mhm.
I really do. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not for jumping into resilience just for the sake of resilience. Hey, I'm
Just
going to
dive
do some
headfirst.
bad things to you so that you'll get more
Hey,
resilient.
let's just do some exposure resilience.
Yeah. I'm like, dang, that didn't work out. Yes, and please hear me if you are people of faith. I am definitely not saying don't be spiritual and give it over to God, but I think God expects us to face it. You know,
Yeah.
and like I said, if you're not a person of faith, wherever you choose to put that, it's
Mhm.
really the same. We can't just, say I'm putting this Band-Aid on it. It's got to breathe.
Yeah. And
It's got to breathe.
the universe will just make it better for me.
Yeah, it's
Or
fine.
what? And it's no,
It'll
we've
all work
got
out.
to sit in it for a minute and figure out what we're going to do with those feelings.
Mhm.
And as you figure out what to do with them, which is to feel them,
Yeah.
then it starts to go away and it starts to not have as strong of,
Yeah.
of a reaction or a feeling.
Settles.
Yeah.
I think it settles is a cool way to put it, just because it turns on our other parts of the brain that are all working together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the problem, is this one's not working with anything else. It's kind of working against it.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's in charge, all the blood flow goes there.
The amygdala's real happy then
Yeah.
because it gets all the blood flow. It
Yes, we can
gets
freak out. I want to freak out.
I want to make irrational decisions in the
It's
midst of all this
fight,
blood
flight.
flow.
Yeah. Yes. I'm going to take off running now.
Yeah.
But that same sentiment I notice, and I talk to my clients about this a lot, that urge to do something
Mm.
is very often our fight and flight, but it's sort of needed
I was
when there's a crisis.
just going to say that there's so much beauty in the amygdala and
Mm-hmm.
what it can do when it is activated like that, because
Mm-hmm.
it's working with that humanity, that human part
Yes.
of you that's like, I need to help.
Yes.
I need to jump into
Yes.
action. What can I do? And it spurs you on to do something. And then
That's
when
why
it
it's needed.
subsides,
Yes.
you can start to think logically. I mean, I'm not saying just get in your car and drive down to Kerrville. I'm saying
Yes. Listen.
listen to that desire,
Mm-hmm.
and then in 24 to 48 hours, you're able to come back online and
Yes.
logically think,
Metabolize too.
what can I really logically do to help?
Yeah.
And we need the ones that jump in their car and go.
Yes.
Those are the first responders and
Yes.
the people that are aiding our first responders.
Absolutely.
But not everyone
And thank
needs to do
goodness for
that.
them.
Yes.
Yes.
But not everyone needs to do that. And so that fight or flight, that need to help is so important. And there's so much beauty in that. And don't lose that desire.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want to
Think through it logically.
Well, and that's what we've talked about many times on here before, is not losing the survival system. We need it.
Mm-hmm.
We need the survival system to spur us on to action sometimes. We need it to calm us to a state where we take care of ourselves, like when we're sick and those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
We need that system. We don't need to be chronically living in that system.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. But you can see that is why these things, we feel like we need to do something. It is
Mhm.
our fight and flight system. It's, like I said, not a bad system.
Yeah.
Not a bad system. Now, when I notice it's problematic, like I said, is when it's chronic and you're living in it daily instead of living in the ventral more, and when there is nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's nothing to do but just be.
And that's the hard part, because that's when you're forced to just feel.
Yeah.
And so I'd rather live in a state of panic and anxiety and prevent my kids
Yes.
from ever getting harmed or
Yes.
anyone else's kids.
Yes.
I want to protect them all
Mhm.
instead of just sitting and like I can't do anything. And so I
Mhm.
have to just be sad.
Yeah.
I have to just be scared.
It's uncomfortable feelings.
Mhm.
Again, it always seems to go and boil down to that, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Sitting with discomfort is not pleasant and we don't like it, but it's a necessary part. It's grief. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm grieving for those families. I really am. I know all of you out there are. You're
Mhm.
grieving for those people. You're grieving for those children that were scared.
Mm.
You're grieving for those counselors that had to take care of kids and were kids themselves.
Mhm.
We're grieving for people who have no idea where their family members are. Yeah, and I think it's really important that we allow that grief
Mhm.
to happen. Like I said, we want to skip over that part. And I still do want to skip over that part.
Yeah, it's
Like I don't want
uncomfortable.
to. Yeah. But I think it is so necessary in being human.
And I think if you allow yourself to grieve, we don't move on as quick. Does that make
Mhm.
sense? Like you're forced to grieve and grief takes a while, even if it's somebody you
Yes.
didn't know. But if you just skip over it, then what happens? You become desensitized. You
Well, you're
become
numb. You're in
yeah.
blue.
And
You're
so
dorsal. Yeah. You don't care anymore.
yeah.
And the truth is you do care.
Mhm.
You know, unless you've got some diagnosis that I am not equipped to handle. You know what I mean? I'm like, we won't talk about those today. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, really, if you're becoming desensitized, all that means is you've slipped into dorsal vagal. You're in the
Mhm.
blue, what we would call the blue zone. And that blue zone is very self protective and understandable in seasons like this. Very understandable that we're just sitting here going, I don't know. I don't I don't even know that I can care,
Mhm.
you know? But you do care. It's your body is saying, I'm going to protect you from feeling that so deeply.
Mhm.
It's like it is like shock. You know, your body
Mhm.
goes into shock to protect your brain from not being able to handle the pain that you feel. It's emotionally the same kind of system.
Yeah.
We don't often think of it that way, but it
Mhm.
is. Yeah. So anything that I see where I always think of Fred Rogers, you know, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and he always says, look for the helpers in times of crisis. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful sentiment to say there is beauty even in our pain, but we don't always celebrate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have worn my Mr. Rogers socks. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. I watched Mr. Rogers, my, the neighborhood. I loved that show.
I never understood why he took off a jacket to put on a sweater. It's hot in your house. You don't need to put on a
I
cardigan.
actually understand it. Really understand it. You know me, I'm always
Just
cold.
leave the jacket on.
I'm always cold. No, 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 no. That's an outside jacket. If you saw me every day after work, you would be going, "Oh, she gets it." Yeah.
She understands.
I have always wanted to live in there. I mean, seriously, I do the same thing. You're like,
Okay.
"Wow, she."
Take off your work hoodie and put on your home hoodie.
Yes. Actually, I do. Put on sweatpants in the summer. Gracie was
Uh,
like, "You have so many sweatpants." And I was like, "Yes, I want to be comfortable." You know, and I
yeah.
put on my slippers just like Mr. Rogers.
Oh, I put on my pajamas right when I get home.
Oh,
But that's pajama. That's not taking this t-shirt off and putting on a different one. It's a whole different outfit.
no, I have a oh my goodness,
A
this is
moo
gonna age me. Yeah, I do have a moo. I have actually a Brittany Broski moo.
Special.
I mean, my daughter really likes me. She got me a Brittany. It has her face on it, which makes it even funnier. She's really funny anyway to me, but she's from here. Did you know that?
Huh,
Brittany Broski is from here. Yeah, she's cool. Went to school at Ryder.
interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, I'm not a native.
Oh, well, sorry about that.
Are you?
Not really. No, but I mean, look, all of these things that we learn, you know, my doctorate is in community care. So I've learned about natural disasters and how to step in and help those communities and those kind of things. And the main thing they say and the main thing they tell you is sit with them.
Mm,
It's just like we do with any other kind of, you know, traumatic event. Sit with them, hold space with them. give them resources to meet those needs. And I think the Texas really did step up.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Many states did.
Oh yeah.
They were overwhelmed, they said,
Yeah.
with resources as far as physical resources. So they need money, they need certain things. And I love Miranda Lambert actually did a whole thing for the dogs that were displaced.
Mm.
She's actually also doing a concert in Houston, with a bunch of country people who are going to raise funds for the other victims, not just the dogs, but
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
the actual victims, the human ones.
Mhm.
And I mean, yeah, a lot of people stepped up.
Yeah.
I heard many stars going down there. I couldn't tell which ones were real and which ones were AI. So I'm not going to list them because I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Some of them were AI, I could
Yeah.
tell, but I was like, some of them really did go.
Yeah.
I don't know which ones actually.
We don't know anymore.
No, Facebook will
everything.
mess you up with that.
Oh.
We
Well, you can't always believe what you see.
No. What?
Well, we couldn't fully trust Fox News or CNN, and now we can't trust Facebook. What's happening?
What is happening in this world? I'll be like, that looks like AI, and then I'll be like, it looks real though too. I don't know.
Except always look at the fingers. Are they a little bit weird?
Oh, Gracie always goes, Mom, that is clearly AI. I'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah, I knew that. I mean, I figured it.
I'm not older.
It all looks real to me. But I'm like, if you can't see very well, it all looks real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fair. It's the way it goes. So if we were summing this up.
Ooh. I would say sorrow, grief.
Intense.
Yeah. It's still so hard for me personally to sit in.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. But I'm learning every time I hear something else or another story or another body found that I need to slow down and not just move past it because my anxiety tells me to or my fear tells me to. It's okay. That is scary. That's heartbreaking for that mother or father.
It seems the most natural response because it is.
And then to sit in it though, like it's
that is the most natural response coming up for you though.
Yeah.
Avoid.
Oh yeah.
Understandable. Like I don't want anyone judging themselves because they can't do it right now.
No,
because capacity.
I have to avoid sometimes a lot just because what's going on in my personal life. And then I see that and it's like, oh my gosh.
It's too much.
But there's still, I know it's going to get stuck and it's going to affect my family later if I don't come back to it at some point and feel it.
When I can deal with it in a more effective way. When my capacity is capable, actually, of holding space for that, I need to pay attention. Just because it's important. It's important, like you said, for storing it later. Yeah. Our hearts and our thoughts go out to all of those that are affected and all of those who are dealing with the secondhand trauma of it, which is all of us right now. So that's all I have for today.
That's all we got. Next time, see ya.
Now we're like, where the hell is it?